So, jumping straight in, large language models are clearly eating the world, following the expression of software eating the world. Um, they've been around for, a few years in their larger instantiation, but we really had this aha moment around November when OpenAI released ChatGPT, which they sort of described as GPT 3.5, so building on top of the class of models that was powering their DaVinci um, model class. Um, and this was transformative because I think it's the moment where broadly the general public, people who are talented in a variety of different ways, but aren't working necessarily machine learning or living breathing machine learning models, understood or had an intuitive grasp of the capabilities that instruction following models had. Obviously, ChatGPT has a little bit more than that, but for me, it was just a large part of its success, with hindsight, was that it took a fairly intuitive medium for communicating with an instruction following model, like a chat box, which people are used to using through Slack, MSN, um, Twitter, all these different ways in which we communicate with each other, and being able to directly interact with a version of an instruction following model that furthermore had aspects of conversational fluency and um, of being able to track the history of instructions and do reference resolution. So that sort of was the aha moment for the general public, which obviously stimulated people in startups and then broader enterprise clients. And so it's both a culturally and economically transformative moment, an inflection point of sorts. And this sort of aha moment, let me move my little picture here so you can see, um, is sort of fits into this periodicity we see in history of every couple of years, every 12 to 15 years, some new technology comes that substantially transforms the technological landscape and its applications. And so examples here are the personal computer in 81, which obviously took something that was previously only the sort of like technical resource you'd have in a university lab or in a large company and put it in potentially every home. Web browsing in 93 provided an intuitive view onto into the World Wide Web, and which was a few years old at that point, tops, and the internet obviously being a few decades old at that point. The iPhone and sort of like smartphone revolution in the mid 2000s led to this sort of like ubiquitous access to computing. You now had like your main computational device for many was in their pocket all the time. And now we have ChatGPT, which people are using in an increasingly um, unboundedly creative set of ways. ChatGPT and obviously a number of its competitors. And what do these sort of like inflection points in our technological history have in common? There are different ways in which we can interface with information, from being able to define processes over information from the comfort of your own home, to being able to access a global web of information from your personal computer, to having that in your pocket, to having a novel way of interfacing with the aggregate byproduct of the information that the model is trained on or can index into through a variety of methods. And having a step change in how we interface and interact with information has usually a knock-on effect in terms of everything from human creativity to the way we process and act on information and the timeframes we can do that in, and obviously entrepreneurship and larger scale business.